Everybody, it's the watch list with Jayar Jackson. It is me, your friend, your buddy, your family, Jayar Jackson. I'm here with the watch list. We are gonna break down the videos that drive the news and the views of the day, every day, when it comes to news, politics, society, culture, you know, a little bit of sports, because that is still in me. You guys haven't gotten rid of it. It's still there. It's still there. Listen, you guys, I'm extraordinarily excited. I'm happy to be here. I almost don't know what to say. The good news about that is I brought on someone that can say a lot, and he can say a lot for a very long time. The CEO and host of the Young Turks, founder of the TYT Network, Cenk Uygur joins me. What's going on, brother?
How you doing, Jay? I'm super excited to be on JR's show. How awesome is that?
Crazy, huh?
Hey, you know, Jay, you mentioned a little bit of sports in the category of chit chat for 1 second. KC Denver, I'm sorry, it's already funny. KC Buffalo, so
you still got Denver on your mind.
I know, right? KC Buffalo, greatest game of all time, yes or no?
Well, I don't know. I'm a little biased because the previous game was better, the Rams and Bucks, even though we almost threw it away. Just saying. But it ended well. No, that game was ridiculous. If there was 1 second left on the clock, Buffalo would have won. That's all. That's what it is.
That's right. All right, let's do
That's just how it is. So that's enough of that today. But we will revisit when things push us in that direction. But I'm glad you joined me today. Everyone, please like, subscribe, comment. I'd love to hear from you. We're gonna speak to you guys as usual. With that being said, let's just get started. Come on.
Guys, Joe Biden is what stands between us and a nuclear-capable China. Joe Biden is the guy they're gonna call at 3 in the morning if there's a serious crisis with Russia.
That's former one-term first son, Donald Trump Jr., ranting about the Bidens again, specifically Joe Biden in this situation. I'm not sure why, but there could be many reasons. Some of them surrounding New York Attorney General Letitia James, who's coming down hard on the Trumps and their inflation of assets, from real estate to golf clubs, anything else in between. But he's stressed out, and you can maybe tell he looks a little bit tipsy there. Now, if you're wondering if he's done this before, he has. This was in June of last year.
Be like, I don't think Joe's smart enough to be like, hey, let's send him off the trail. Don't hack the McDonald's on DC. I mean, why doesn't he just give Putin, like, I don't know, the keys to the nuclear football? What's the list? Don't hack 1, Joe's basement. 2, Hunter's businesses. 3, Hunter's laptop. 10% for the big guy. 4, don't hack that. What's going on?
That's the first question that I agree. What is going on? Now, wait, I heard something about McDonald's. One more time, McDonald's. I'm hungry this morning. Let's listen.
Don't hack the McDonald's on DC. I mean,
it's wrong. You should not laugh at people that potentially have an addiction issue, because there's a serious problem, actually. But luckily, we've been let off the hook. There's one guy who's definitely an expert on this entire thing with addiction, and he says it's okay. One more time, let's listen.
What do you think the media reaction would be to Don Jr. smoking Parmesan cheese? I promise you, it wouldn't be what we saw from the media, right? It'd be a little different. And then I say that, and they say, oh, you're making fun of people with addiction. I go, let's just talk about this for a second. I totally understand addiction, it's terrible. We all know people that have suffered from it. It doesn't absolve you from being a total piece of garbage in every other aspect of your life. It doesn't absolve you from selling access to the highest power levels of government. It doesn't absolve you from selling out your country. It doesn't absolve you from, I don't know, child support from the stripper you knocked up a couple years ago, right?
There's so much irony in that last statement, and when he was at CPAC, I'm not sure where to start. But we might as well start with the whole selling your country out, maybe that. Or the knocking up a stripper it sounds like your dad. All these things that they don't see the irony behind what they're saying, and as they're attacking other folks for addiction issues, as he continues to go online, be inebriated in whatever way he is, be it drunkenly or any kind of drugs, he keeps doing it, but he keeps thinking that someone else is the problem, Cenk. Maybe someone needs to come in and take the phone away. There needs to be a point when someone says, hey, calm down, and maybe deal with their issues off on the side.
Yeah, the guy's a walking projection. Almost everything he says about the Bidens is exactly what could be applied to himself and his dad. Although I have no idea what smoking Parmesan cheese means. Like literally have no idea. I've never heard that before. I don't know what's going on at the McDonald's in Washington, but now I kind of want to find out. But Jayar, I have a confession. My confession is that I'm a little naive about this stuff. And so since I can't imagine being drunk on air or a guy on coke or any of this madness, I usually assume like, nah, they're not really drunk. We're just like, maybe they sound drunk, but like, and Jayar, we've been doing this for a long time, right? So you can see how 20 seconds could be taken out of context. So I had a little like naivete attached to that. But that last clip, which was the first one that you played, last in terms of time, but first one that we played for you guys, put that all away for me. No, that guy is either drunk as he could possibly be or as high as he could possibly be. I know when I'm in that state, the pauses, it's the pauses. Joe Biden. I mean, like he's doing his dad's China, but I think that Joe Biden is specific to Don Jr., and I'll give him credit for trademarking that one. No, he's definitely got issues. Now it's open and shut.
Well, yeah, but then the thing is, what are they gonna do about it? Because look, everyone's pointed out, and it turns into you have a Trump derangement syndrome. And sure, again, and I did mean it when it comes as far as making fun of people with addiction issues. The thing is they constantly do the things that they say that others shouldn't do. Again, selling your country out, or honestly disrespecting women and talking about how he went through this whole process. I'm not sure how after Donald Trump was about to get in office, we had to grab him by the P word, and then all of the scandals that came out, and then the locker room talk defenses. I think they just don't care. It doesn't really matter for their supporters whether or not they look a certain way, act a certain way, and then say, hey, I'm above all of this. There's nothing that can really snap people out of it because they found a way to get people's identity to be connected to them. It has nothing to do with anything else. No ideology, no policy, nothing, no agenda, nothing about what's coming up in the next election cycle. Just, can you believe with Biden and McDonald's? Why does that mean someone should vote for you? This is where we are, and this is why our policies are nowhere, because we don't have any, we're not pushing any. And for one party that does push a few of them and doesn't follow through on them, we're left with one that says F you and other says, F you. That's the only difference we have now.
Yeah, and so my last thought on this, look, you're absolutely right. Nobody's talking about $15 minimum wage or healthcare for you or child tax credit for your families, etc. And they're almost there as it is right now. But Don Jr. could be identical to Hunter Biden. He could go on the board of a Ukrainian gas company, okay, and have a laptop with the same exact pictures, and Republican voters will not care at all, not 1%. And they'll say, oh no, that's totally fine because it's not Joe Biden. So their whole reason for existence now is to hate us. So you can't cure that. We just have to figure out how to get past it politically.
Well, we're gonna work on that. And they're working on actually making sure they don't get by these things politically. But when you say hate and violence, let's go to this next story. Are you tired of having to deal with mask mandates at your child's school? There's a lady in Virginia who's also tired of these mask mandates, and she has a detailed explanation. She was kind enough to give to the school board there in Virginia about how people can go on and live their lives. Again, think about that as you hear this. To live their lives. Watch.
All right, no mask mandates. My children will not come to school on Monday with a mask on. All right, that's not happening. And I will bring every single gun loaded and ready to, I will call every.
That's 3 minutes. You've gone past your time. It's a policy. Thank you.
I'll see y'all on Monday.
Drop the mic, walks off. I'll see you Monday with all these guns locked and loaded because of a school mask mandate. That was Amelia King. She's been arrested and charged for that specific threat. Let's go to some of the details here from CNN. Authorities said that Amelia King, 42 of Luray, was charged with making an oral threat while on school property Friday afternoon. A magistrate judge released her on $5,000 unsecured bond. Now, before she faced those consequences that now she's gonna have to continue to live through, she did submit an apology to that school board that she threatened with their lives, because we have to go back to living our lives. She threatened them, and then she had this apology that the school board, one of the school board members, did read. Listen.
I in no way meant to imply all guns loaded as in actual firearms, but rather all resources I can muster to make sure that my children get to attend school without masks. My sincere apologies for my poor choice in words. I'm absolutely mortified. I would never do such a thing. I was only speaking figuratively, as in notifying the press and creating a social media stir. Nonetheless, I'm beside myself. I've already contacted the sheriff's office to explain myself. I never meant to imply I would show up with actual firearms. I'm not a dangerous person. I'm not a threat. And I'm so very sorry for the way it came across.
I'm not a dangerous person. I'm not a threat. I'm mortified. I didn't know what I was saying. How often do we hear things like that? I had no idea what I was saying, or I was just joking. Or do you really mean that? At least she was on the side of like, I said this and I did something wrong, rather than if you guys decided to take what I said the wrong way, then that's up to you. And it's a shame that you did such a thing. Instead of that, at least she said it was her fault. But will she do it again? Or will someone hear what she then said and be like, that's a good idea, Amelia? That's a good idea. Let's show up to the school. Let's not talk about all the rest of these other violent actions at schools for other reasons between just teenagers that have something wrong, or maybe stole their parents' gun at home, maybe were gifted a gun by their parent and said, you know, it'd be cool if I shot up those kids that I just don't like anymore. Now Amelia King wants to show up to the school and shoot up the school board and whoever else is in front of her, locked and loaded. I'm trying to think of whatever kind of meaning behind locked and loaded with every gun I have means, besides locked and loaded with every other gun that I have. I mean, she didn't have an explanation in her apology there. I'm waiting for that part. I'm also waiting for anyone to stand up and then say, we've gone too far with pushing these folks to this point where they think they need to shoot up school boards over a mask over your child's face to protect other people's lives. So in order for you to go back to your life, let's go and shoot up everyone else and end theirs. This is where we've gone in this country. This is where our political discourse is. And this is what many conservatives want these parents to be radicalized to think, because they think they'll just come out and vote for me and end it there. You've put a fire in their belly and they think that the entire country's against them. And they think it's time to start shooting, because that's what the founding fathers told us to do. That's why we're here, Cenk.
Yeah, before we get to the serious stuff, just a moment of lightness there. Upon rewatching that video, I realized she's like, I'm gonna come locked and loaded. I got all my guns. Your 3 minute is up, madam. Oh, okay, sorry.
See
and she steps aside. I don't care about any of your rules. 3 minutes up. Oh, okay, sorry. Okay, now look, of course, this is incredibly dangerous. And remember, the context here is several different polls have shown that between 30 and 40% of Republicans, that's tens of millions of people in the country, think that it might be time for violence. And so why her change of heart between her being Rambo up there on the mic and then being super contrite afterwards? Because of entitlement. She thought she was entitled to threaten their lives, and then found out, oh no, the sheriff's department disagrees, and it might actually cost her. She doesn't mind threatening them. She doesn't mind if they're worried about their lives or their kids. That's not at all an issue for her, because she's conservative. She doesn't care about anyone but herself. But when the sheriff's department said, no, you're going to get arrested, she was like, oh, wait a minute, this affects me? Oh, then it was figurative. Figurative my ass. If you say, hey, let's go kick some ass, that's figurative, right? Well, let's go fight as hard as we can, that's figurative. I'm going to get all of my guns and load them is not figurative. There is no such political saying, sports saying, there's no saying like that at all, other than I'm actually going to get my guns and load them and murder you guys. And then that leads to the final irony. Remember, these guys are pro-life, and they say, now if you're trying to save kids' lives with masks, you're trying to save their lives with masks, then I'm gonna murder you. pro-life my ass.
Exactly.
No, all they are is entitled little brats. And if the law does not have consequences and does not apply equally, then we're gonna have anarchy and they're gonna take the next step. So it is super important for them not to just do a slap on the wrist here. She should go to jail. She should go to jail. You don't get to come and say, I'm gonna murder you all and then get away with it.
Because then other people will see that. We talk about crime deterrent. And the reason why you punish people is to keep others from doing the same thing. If you don't do anything about it, another person can have the same thought that she had, except they're gonna remember the times when the police didn't do anything about it. Even the minimal things that's happened to her now. They're gonna remember the times that the police escorted them out after they made threats at school board meetings. All those things that just happened, they're gonna remember that. So we know how this all works. One last quick thing, because by the way, that board that was debating those COVID measures, let's jump down to some of these other graphics, 5 real fast, you guys. Because she was worried that they were debating it, and they were debating because of the Omicron variant is spreading. So the board ultimately decided on a 4-2 vote to make masking the choice of the parent. Crazy. Masks will be required for all staff and anyone on school buses. So you show up, yell about locked and loading your guns to go and hurt people, and then they didn't even vote against you. So what were you doing all this for? You've been radicalized by the type of people that you think are supporting you when they're just using you for political purposes. I'm gonna get into later about how there's these conservative advisors and strategists have said, don't run on anything in the midterms, run on these culture war things, run on the mask mandates, run on Mr. Potato Head. That's what they're doing. This is not random. They're planning this and this is what happens, but they just want the votes. It's all about power. It's why power will destroy us eventually. We have a little bit more time, Cenk. You know what? I'm gonna squeeze in one more story. Let's go to this next one.
Don't videotape me.
You have no room to yell at us.
I want to speak to the person who made this drink. Is that you?
No, it wasn't me.
We don't know who made it, so.
You don't know who made it?
There's 4 of us here, so we obviously don't know.
Stupid ignorant high school kids.
Okay, bye.
I want to speak to the.
Bye. Okay, you can call corporate whenever you want. Goodbye.
Jam, stop. You're on camera.
No, I don't care.
Give it to me right now.
I'm calling the police. I'm calling the police.
That gentleman standing at a Robux juice smoothie shop is James Ianazzo. It's in Connecticut. And he threw a smoothie at one of the teenagers that was working there, high school student that was working there. He was since arrested and charged with second-degree intimidation based on bigotry or bias, second-degree breach of peace, and first-degree criminal trespass. It might be because he threw the drink, but it might also have to do with the fact that he then tried to break into the room in the back where 3 to 4 of these young ladies were trying to work. Let's see this really fast.
I want the telephone number.
Gianna.
Telephone. Shut the.
Shut up. Get out. You can call corporate. Bye. Okay, good for you. Bye.
I want the.
Bye.
Shut up.
You shut up. You're not gonna tell me to shut up. Who are you? Who are you?
Immigrant loser.
What? You. Get the out. Get the out. Get the out. You're going to jail. You're going to jail, you racist piece of shit.
I want the telephone.
Bro, call the police now.
I want the telephone number.
So look it up. I don't know what you want. Look it up and you want the telephone number.
It was an extraordinarily tense situation. This grown man comes in very upset about an order, which we'll get to the details of in a second. Throws his drink at one of the girls working there, then tries to break into the back room. You saw the door move a little bit as one of the other employees was leaned against it. And I believe the girl that was filming also started leaning against it. Yes, that particular one in the blue sweater was fighting back, arguing back and all that, pushing back. There's nothing that's not extraordinarily unsettling about this entire group of events. Now, what triggered him to go this far before I get to you, Cenk, is the police said this, Ianazzo 48 told police that he was upset because, quote, his son was having a severe allergic reaction and went back to the store as a result. During that investigation, employees reported that Ianazzo never told him about the peanut allergy that he had, which has forced his son to have that reaction. But he'd only requested that there was be no peanut butter in his drink. So the police said, and also according to them, officers were called to his home about 1:39 p.m. for a juvenile who had an allergic reaction and had to be taken to a local hospital. So this guy, James, was upset because his son had a reaction to the smoothie there, and he has a severe peanut allergy. He asked for no peanut butter in the drink. Didn't say anything about it's for my son. Didn't say anything about how he has an allergic reaction. I'm not sure what was in that drink that allowed that to happen. If it was residue, we've seen those types of things. But it got him this upset. This is after his son had gone to the hospital. His son had had a reaction. Then he returned with the cup and decided to make this scene. So really fast, last thing, Cenk, before you. As a result of this whole attack, he was also fired from his job. He was a wealth manager that he had been holding that job since 1995. So let's go to this really fast. Bill Halden, who's a spokesperson for Merrill Lynch and Bank of America, said in a statement, "Our company does not tolerate behavior of this kind. We immediately investigated and have taken action. This individual is no longer employed at our firm." Let's look at his mugshot as you give me your reaction to this, Cenk.
Yeah, so look, I don't know what I'm gonna say is slightly controversial, but I didn't think he crossed the line until he threw the drink. So I don't know to what degree it's true that his son has a peanut allergy and that there was peanut butter in the drink and then he had allergic reaction, et cetera. But it's okay. It doesn't matter to me. He gets upset. The women working there get upset. That happens a million times across the country, and they yell at each other back and forth. That, to me, that's not a crime. It's not a big deal. Okay, maybe it is a big deal, but it's not a crime. But he throws the drink. That's obviously assault. It's over. You have to get arrested. There's no way around that. But each step gets worse. Now those are 4 young women that are working there. He's a big guy, like I am, right? When he tries to break into the back room, no. That is a massive threat, right?
Absolutely.
What are you gonna do? You're gonna break into the room and do what to those young women? That's nuts. It's nuts. No, you gotta get arrested, right? And then the third thing is immigrant loser. That's what he called the girls. Brother, your name is James Iannazzo, okay? I grew up in Jersey, so I love my Italian brothers and sisters, but I got news for you. You're also an immigrant. I mean, you're not Native American. You didn't come on the Mayflower, okay? And at some point, your ancestors, and by ancestors, I don't mean hundreds of years ago, I mean a couple of generations ago, were called immigrant losers. And so now you're gonna turn around and say that to other people? Get the hell out of here, man.
This is why we have these types of problems. There's people who are here who think that there's the superiority complex that they have, and also people who have come here and then gotten through all those struggles, and they say, well, I'm like the rest of the the privileged folks who talk down to others. And it's almost like they think that's the American way. And we've convinced enough people that until you start talking down on others, then you're not really an American. This is the upside down nature of our thought process and just the way we approach things. But no, as soon as the cursing at, okay, there's been times I've been upset. I'm trying to find the point when it's okay what he did. It was about the time when he said, "Who made this drink?" You can say it angrily, your kid was going through some serious issues. But what is your objective? What is his objective in his mind? First of all, the 4 girls had no idea what his objective was. It was to come and attack them after he threw a drink. So what would you think he's gonna come behind that door to do next? Have a conversation, ask them for the number politely, hand him his cell phone, say, hey, sweetheart, could you put that phone number in my book for me, in my phone for me? No, that's not anything he was doing to come back there for. He was going back there to assault them further. Now, by the way, the girl who had the smoothie thrown at her, they didn't charge him with assault on that because it didn't injure her. I know spitting on someone is also assault. You're not actually hurt there either. I mean, you might catch whatever kind of disease and germs they've got, but that's not actually getting injured either. It's a little crazy. This whole thing annoys me. And actually, it's taken me over our time. We're gonna go to our break now. Because I'm a little bit like seething and I don't want to say things that I shouldn't say right now. So we're gonna go to our first break, you guys. We'll be back in a few minutes. Next, we're gonna talk about our favorite governor down in Florida. He's continuing his battle back and forth over whether or not he really got vaccinated and boosted. It's a drama that's gonna unfold. We'll come back.
Cenk Uygur is not here today, which means that I will be able to talk during the show.
We'll see.
Poor Cenk, under the bus.
My God, if Jesus came back, how much would the Republicans hate him? So now you have to give away all of your possessions to the poor. Steve King would be like, oh, Weezy. Everyone should be lucky enough to have a John Iadarola in their life.
You confused everyone.
Okay, sorry. I thought it was pretty clear.
Take a break now.
You can turn me into Dr. Manhattan as long as I get what Dr. Manhattan's packing, okay?
The liberal mom says, Mark Thompson, have you ever thought about doing one of those tapes that soothe people to sleep? Like Mark Thompson reads the phone book. I'd buy it.
If you'll buy it, I'll do it.
Emilio D'Amelio writes in, John, you are so thick. I love you. That's what he wrote.
Pork Chop Express writes in and says John Iadarola needs a new jacket.
Whoa.
Those 24-inch pythons are about to burst out of his sleeve.
Gun, baby. You know, the two people here said that their moms were both in love with you over Beauty and the Beast.
Mm-hmm. That's an improvement. I usually get grandmothers.
Charlie Turk.
No, wait a minute, don't you dare.
Chemical castration when we return from the break.
I hope that, who they choose for the White House isn't just a borderline Klansman. That's all we gotta hope.
That's it. We will settle it.
She's cute.
I didn't say that about Laura Ingraham.
Scandal at TYT. Did Anna comment on my tan yet? No, she hasn't.
You're a good boss.
But Anna did say that I come in here today with a fresh mind. That's all I'm about. I'm about a fresh mind.
I can't with you right now. Okay?
She just can't. She can't, but nonetheless, we have to for another 3 hours. I'm back, baby. Let's rip in the Republicans. See, don't miss the live show.
That's great.
Tell people, if you're a member, you get the whole live show whenever you want, because this stuff doesn't go into any of the clips.
Welcome to the Damage Report. I'm John Iadarola. This is gonna be a big one.
Meanwhile, in the Arctic, you know where this is going. You watch the Damage Report, the Arctic's on fire. Obviously, why would we be talking about the Arctic except to tell you that it's melting once again? The Republicans aren't that interested in it. I wonder why. Lift out of poverty up to 3.7 million people, including an estimated 1.3 million children. Hashtag save the children? Not if it costs money. I mean, come on.
What's happening? I'm Dr. Rashad Richey, host of Indisputable with Dr. Rashad Richey. Here's the bottom line. I play no games about policy, period. Too many people's lives are at stake. So here's what I do. I challenge conservative ideology that hinders the growth of this country. I make sure we place our facts in proper context, and I have no problem debating anyone on a position that I have. Progressives have the ideas to change the world, but when you really look at it, progressives have always changed this world for the better. I want you to tune into my new show, Indisputable with Dr. Rashad Richey, right here on the TYT Network, 2:30 p.m. Eastern Time, 11:30 a.m. Pacific Time. I'll see you there.
Everything that we've accomplished over the years is because of our members who've allowed us to remain independent of corporate interests and reach 20 million followers. Now is the time to bring as many people into the progressive movement as possible. We're inviting you to be the change and help bring a community-powered progressive change machine to life. Details are at tyt.com/change. If you're a member, thank you. We need you to remain so. If you're one of the thousands of viewers out there who's not a member yet, the time has come for you to join now. We need you more than ever. tyt.com/change.
Now we're back to you, Jayar. Cold open.
Welcome back to the watch list. Okay, and this is the show where we break down all the videos of the day that you're gonna be paying attention to. The ones that drive the news and the views, the things you're gonna be talking about, and your friend's gonna say, how did you know about that, man? Well, Jayar told me. Of course, come on, let's keep it real. But before we get back to more stories, I want to go to a couple of comments because I've been waiting for this moment, you guys. I've been waiting to see what you guys have to say from some of the members, TYT members. Texas Two-Step Dragon. Oh, we got Dragon members. I love it. We're gonna snatch a few from TDR before you guys set in there. Always love JR's perspective. Texas Two-Step Dragon, thank you. Always love JR's perspective. Love every second of this show. Thank you very much. Dive to the Heart. The Dragon Reborn says, wow, I'm loving the watch's layout. I am too. The lower thirds or whatever it is actually called. She laughs. Mickey C, the silver hair dragon says, little Donnie Jr. doing what he's done for 43 years, jumping up and down, waving his arms wildly and screaming, please notice me, daddy. Please notice me. Well, it hasn't worked so far. On Twitch, you guys, love you guys on Twitch. I heard we got a nice little audience there on Twitch right now. The Hype Train level 5 came in. Brandy Lou gifted 5 tier 1 subs. Obi Mom Kenobi, thank you very much. Gifted 20 tier 1 subs. Crazy. Holy Beer Dragon gifted 5 tier 1 subs. And the School Board Ladies Apology Platinum Yeti. Sorry she got caught. And I see a bunch of emojis in there. Really fast on the super chats, we'll get to more of these in a minute because I appreciate all of you guys. From Joy to the World, congrats. JR, thank you very much. Moondragon, thank you. Non-Human Humanist, thank you. River Rose, thank you. Joda Suave, super excited for the first live show. Already canceled my Netflix account. Someone else said this before. To make room in the budget for membership here. Hoping we can do that soon. JR, thanks for all that you do for us. Then just Sprocket at the end. Sprocket is not coming in studio. I'm sorry, you guys. He's not gonna be in here. He likes to chill out at home. Anyways, we'll get to more of you guys' comments. I appreciate you. But we gotta get to more news because you guys have to know what's going on today. So let's go to this next story down in Florida.
Governor, have you received your COVID booster shot?
So that's something that I think people should just make their own decisions on. I'm not going to let that be a weapon for people to be able to use. I think it's a private matter. We've worked hard to be able to protect people so they don't lose their jobs on that. I have said publicly that the FDA recommended against boosters for people in my age group, and the CDC overrode that. And I think that was based on politics. I don't think that was based on science. 2 of the top FDA people actually resigned in protest. Many people didn't hear about that. You know why? Well, because it didn't fit the narrative. I can tell you, if you had a different president of a different party, that would have been hair on fire stuff.
Florida Governor Ron DeSantis still hasn't practiced his answer to that question of whether or not he's been boosted. It's crazy because he keeps getting asked it and he keeps stumbling over it. This time he imagined there's a world where it can be weaponized against him. The answer to whether or not you've been boosted would be weaponized against you. And I guess maybe he thinks that because he's been weaponizing not getting the vaccine against other folks for political purposes. But no, again, like I said, he continues to do this. This is back in December. He fumbled the bag here too on Fox News. Watch.
Governor, we're not even sure what fully vaccinated means anymore. The other day, Dr. Fauci said, we could be that fully vaccinated means 3 shots, which is 2 shots for the vaccination and then 1 booster shot. Have you gotten the booster?
So I've done whatever I did, the normal shot, and that at the end of the day is people's individual decisions about what they want to do. But these boosters, in terms now, Florida, we ban vaccine passports. We won't let them fire you, even private businesses over this.
You need some work here, Ron. Like scribble it on your hand, Sarah Palin it or something. Do something to make sure you understand which way do I deflect this to not let them realize that I have totally been boosted, but I just don't want to say it. He kind of said it when he said it's gonna be weaponized against him. Either way it goes, that's the way this guy approaches things. But there was some small thing there because Maria Bartiromo asked him that question. He didn't really want to answer it, but I don't think she knew that was an off-limit question. She was hoping this would be something like, oh, hell no, I didn't get that booster. What's wrong with you, Maria? These communists want booster shots. That's where she thought this was gonna go. And instead he stumbled. And as he stumbled, she was like, well, that's right. She nodded to realize, don't ever touch this topic again. Watch really fast, this short part of her.
I've done whatever I did, the normal shot, and that at the end of the day is people's individual decisions about what they want to do. But these boosters.
Logged and made sure she remembers. Cenk, is this okay? Well, first off, do you believe him? Do you think he's actually not boosted or is boosted? I don't know because he kind of danced on both sides of this, just trying to avoid answering the question in the first place. Cenk Uygur can't hear me.
Okay, I'm with you. So I've done whatever I did. Okay, I got you, brother. Okay, he got the booster shot. Okay, but this isn't about DeSantis. This is a really interesting story because it's telling of Republican voters and Republican leaders. First, the Republican leaders, they think, I'm gonna keep myself safe. I don't give a damn about the voters. Don't get the vaccine, don't use masks, and don't get the booster. What do I care, man? I don't care if you die. It's all about my ego. I'm one of the elites. I'm gonna protect myself and then treat you like the schmuck that you are. Then you turn to the Republican voters. Well, there's a reason why he's telling you that, hey, you should question all the things that scientists say, because you guys like when he says that. There's a reason why he's hiding the fact that he protected himself, because you don't want him protected. You want your leaders to be really as silly, barbaric as they could possibly be. No, me no like science, me no like doctors. Of course, until you get sick and then you're begging for doctors, right? But he's just a politician. That means he's trying to appeal to his voters, and his voters want him to be stupid. So he's pretending to be stupid.
True, and you know what? And it's working. That's the thing about, we keep talking about the things that Republicans are doing and the way they disrespect their voters in the country in general, but it works. Or we talk about people that break the law and think, oh man, the police are supposed to back me up in breaking the law, because it's always worked. Like, you teach someone a lesson, and if it's a bad lesson, they're gonna continue to do it. So as long as this works for him, he will continue to do it. As long as he stumbles over the question whether or not he's been vaccinated or boosted, and he has, he's gonna keep doing it. As long as people keep giving him that pass, he's like, well, I can just usher my way into the next step of my political career by lying and not telling him what's really happening and pushing them aside. It's gonna work, it's gonna work. Anyway, so as far as the political career goes, really fast, there's a few people who might be challenging him for president in the primaries for Republicans in 2024 that aren't very happy about this approach that he's making, and they're seeing some openings and they're taking a couple shots. You can probably imagine who these fellows just might be. So from the Herald Tribune, they pointed this out. I watched a couple of politicians be interviewed. This is from Donald Trump, as you guys have seen him say. He was mad about the gutless stuff. I watched a couple of politicians be interviewed, and one of the questions was, did you get a booster? Because they had the vaccine and they're answering like, in other words, the answer is yes, but they don't want to say it because they're gutless. This is what Trump said on Newsmax, I believe a few weeks ago. Also, he said, you gotta say it. Whether you had it or not, say it, say it. Also, by the way, Chris Christie, who we know was doing that book tour because he's gonna be running for president, also jumped in. I would just say, this is a general observation. When you get too cute playing politics, it can often come back to bite you. So just tell the truth and you'd be much better off, is what Chris Christie said. And lastly, he said the responsible thing for DeSantis to do is publicly announce his vaccination status. Now, don't forget, Chris Christie and Donald Trump almost died of COVID. This could be part of why they're coming out so hard and making sure they're like, hey, if you're gonna do it, say it, because this stuff saved my, I was saved. So as soon as I had an opportunity, I decided to get this vaccine. They don't like how this looks, and potentially the weaponizing line. This might be where Ron DeSantis is worried about where this could be coming from, because it's political. It's all it is to him, nothing else.
So, Jayar, my last thought on it is, look, these. I think DeSantis is politically more correct than Christie and Trump. Saying anything honest or smart will definitely hurt you in the Republican primaries. The Republican voters will punish you for it. They're like, oh, you protected yourself? You listen to scientists? Oh, we hate this guy. So that's why Trump is losing popularity now. He once accidentally said the right thing. But the thing that I'm really looking forward to, and about the only thing left to look forward to in politics, is that 2024 primary, and the Republican side is going to be vicious. They're going to cut each other to shreds.
I think they might be watching the watch list to make sure they find some good video clips to use in these political ads against each other, because we're going to get all of them, you guys. Yeah, so the primary coming up is going to be pretty disastrous. And if I win this bet, hopefully it won't be as good as it will be, because don't forget, Cenk, you're going to owe me $100 when Donald Trump does not run again.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, don't forget. No, the 24 primaries, it's gonna be a little crazy. We'll see how that all goes. Actually, no, we've got a few minutes left. Let's actually take one more break, you guys. I want to hear from you again. And then we come back with the last few stories, the last few things that we've been watching after this message.
We talk about TYT Army being so strong. Usually they help us run our show. Now they're gonna help us run the country.
Like this. It's time that we reclaim democracy for the people.
We had a huge victory for Wolfpack.
When Lincoln said this was a country by, of, and for, he said of the people, not of corporations.
Our representatives don't represent us. Whoa, democracy!
United!
We are!
We are!
Too strong! There's thousands of volunteers, and you could be among them. When you get the power back, oh, that feels good.
This is just the beginning.
Knock, knock. We're coming for them! Wolf-pack.com.
Red leather. Mayweather will knock out Pacquiao. Floyd beats his wife.
Okay, I get it. You're progressive. You're looking for other progressive voices. Why? Because you want real progress to happen. You're tired of the why, regular stuff. You should be checking out the Young Turks. Why? Because who else is going to have Killer Mike talking about politics and social issues in his new TV show, Trigger Warning?
My dad wrote the story of his life. It's called The Original Young Turk. It's a book on shoptyt.com. Part of the story is how I became progressive. Now, he doesn't write about that per se, but in his life story, you see, oh my God, when a community helps one another, when the government also chips in and gives you free education, anything is possible. He went from an incredibly poor olive farmer to living the American dream.
Everybody, we're back on the watch list. Let's go to some of these super chats really quickly because I want to get these last couple stories in. Hildy, thank you for the super chat. I believe I said your name correctly. If not, I apologize. Stephen Samuel, thank you. Joe Suave again, wow, thank you. Brenda R, congratulations, she says. Thank you very much, Brenda. Little Mac, darn it, wanted to be your first super chat, but happy to be at least one of. Proud of you, man. I'm confident you will do great things, JR, because you are like the anti-Don Jr. Cenk, it's always good to see you. Oh, you got a little shout out there, Cenk. Isn't that wonderful?
Yay. When someone doesn't yell at me, that's a win.
They might be yelling, but at least it's a good yell. Brian Finzi, thank you. He says, happy first show, JR. Thank you very much. Armed Liberal finally made it to JR's Candy's OnlyFans. We'll see about that segment. Chaplain Fred, AKA Prayer Dragon. Thank you very much. JR, prayers and good vibes for success on your new show. What is she saying? If a Latino had said that, SWAT would have been there. Go Trojans. I assume he's talking about the smoothie situation that happened with the high school student. RC Chick, thank you very much. WWITM squad for the win. That's a wacky waving inflatable tube man. In case you guys don't know, Barry is here with me. Barry's here. He might make an appearance later. You never know. Anyways, we're gonna get to a few of those hopefully at the end. But Grant Stanfield, thank you. Go JR. This is gonna be amazing. Thank you very much. Yes, it is already amazing. And a matter of fact, let's get right into this next amazing story. Journalist and author Bari Weiss, she appeared on Bill Maher's show on Friday to talk about just how done she is. She's just done with COVID. She's done with the restrictions. She's done with all the rules and regulations. She's done because that's all we needed to hear, right? That means it's over now. Now, so since she thinks her fatigue means so much to ending the pandemic, there was another journalist, Walker Bragman. He decided to juxtapose her being done with healthcare workers that are actually done and actually have COVID fatigue. Let's watch this mashup from Bragman here.
I'm done.
With this question?
No, I'm done with COVID.
A lot of people are like, I'm done. I can't keep doing this because it's gonna destroy my own health.
I'm done. It's like I went so hard on COVID.
I sat in that room and I held his hand and I listened to 20 people say goodbye to him. And he was just one story out of thousands.
I
remember.
Sprayed the Pringles cans that I bought at the grocery store, stripped my clothes off because I thought COVID would be on my clothes.
The upside is when they go home. But during this, it's hard to put into words, but they may not be with us anymore, see? That's when it all really is let out.
Like, I did it all. I watched Tiger King. I got to the end of Spotify. Like, we all did it, right?
The worst thing is when we do our ward books in the morning, and it's when the amount of RIPs outnumbers the ones that have made it down to the wards. And I think that's when it really kicks in. And they're a lot younger in the first wave, sorry. I remember thinking that could be mum, that could be my aunt, and now I'm thinking that could be me, that could be my brother, my boyfriend.
No, we didn't all do it.
Well, here's the thing. A lot of us did do it. And then we were told, you get the vaccine. You get the vaccine and you get back to normal.
I've been an ICU full-time for about 7 years. The last 2, I have been full-time through the pandemic, picking up overtime when I can. And burnout has affected me quite close to home. In November and December, I made the decision that for my own mental health, I had to take a step back.
And we haven't gotten back to normal.
It's just so awful to take care of the parents of dependent children who they have a 5-year-old or a grade school kid at home or younger. It's awful.
And it's ridiculous at this point.
That was an incredible mashup by Walker Ragman. So it's ridiculous at this point, she says, and I'm tired of it. There's laughter. I mean, yes, everyone has laughed when we're talking about the COVID pandemic and things that have happened. But when you're talking about how you're ready for this to now be over, I'm through. I did all the precautions. I wore the masks. I got vaccinated. They told me I'd be fine then. Are you still here breathing? Are you on the show on a huge platform talking about how tired you are of things? Because there's people all across the world who aren't talking at all. They're not speaking, they're dead. And they got family members and friends who are never gonna forget saying their last goodbyes. And these healthcare workers that had to facilitate those last goodbyes with sometimes iPads and FaceTimes. Imagine seeing your parents die over FaceTime, because that's what it was made for. Or not being able to go visit them when you're hearing about how badly they're doing. She's done with it though. I'm finished. I put my mask on and it hurt my ear. You know what? My mask hurts my ear too. Where is it? I hate those masks. It hurts my ear. You know when I was done with COVID? I was done with COVID on March 20th, 2020. That's when I was done with COVID. Does that mean anything to COVID? You know, COVID doesn't care about if you're done with it. COVID is doing what it does. It's spreading and it's infecting people. Now, if we want to respond to it because we're done with it, that might be some kind of a constructive thing to do instead of just saying, I'm done with it. This is the basis for how we as Americans always approach things. I'm just done with it. I don't care. We don't run COVID. We don't run viruses. We don't run, well, we run health, but we don't run it very well, at least as far as access to it for everyone. But we're definitely not in control of things like this. But we somehow told the entire country, if you just say you're done with it and you show up with your guns, it's gonna go away. It's that kind of pompous approach to things is what will make you lose to something like this. And if you wanna get behind and past something, the collective group of society has to do things to move forward to get to at least as good as we can get on this. We're not gonna be perfect. It's not gonna be all wonderful, but you have to try. And if you get tired of it, look at the people who are working in it. Cenk.
Yeah, as you were talking, Jayar, it occurred to me that I'm actually a little surprised they haven't tried to shoot COVID yet. It's like that scene in Don't Look Up where they try to shoot the meteor. Yeah. Look, here's the problem. It's difficult to have reasonable conversations because of conservatives. Because the minute you say Omicron is weaker than the other strains, because it is. They go, I know it, man. No, you didn't know anything. The other strains were incredibly strong and killed over 5 million people.
I knew it. No, you're an idiot. You didn't know anything. And that's why probably family members of yours died because of your ignorance. So now when she pretends as if she's conservative, she pretends as if conservatives, were doing the right things all along. I think what Maher was saying there is, no, you didn't, right? And that's a rare thing that I'll agree with Maher on these days, although he loves bringing on anti-Muslim bigots like Bari Weiss. That's his favorite go-to move. But I give credit where credit is due. And in fact, Maher had done a segment where he talked about how Democrats are too panicked now. There is some truth to that. There's a stat out saying that Democrats think that if you get COVID, you have a 50% chance of dying. That isn't true at all. You have, if you're unvaccinated, you have a couple of percentage points of dying, which is way too high. I don't want to take a 2% chance of dying or my loved ones dying. That's nuts, right? That's playing Russian roulette with your life. But yes, at some point, health officials will say, hey, you know what? With the masks and with the vaccines, people are going to be all right. Unfortunately, we're not quite there yet. But her just saying to everyone we're done is going to be interpreted by right-wing mouth breathers, in this case, quite literally, as, oh, I knew it, man, no masks, no vaccines, go endanger everyone. No, get a vaccine, save your life, save other people's lives. And then hopefully, collectively, when the scientists and doctors say it, we'll all be done.
Will actually be done.
Yes.
It will, we'll get there, maybe, we'll see. Moving on to this next story, let's wrap up with this one.
You didn't think M&Ms were pushing intolerance, but they were. They've been changed. You're seeing the changes right now on your screen. The green M&M, you will notice, is no longer wearing sexy boots. Now she's wearing sensible sneakers. Why the change? Well, according to M&Ms, quote, we all win when we see more women in leading roles because leading women do not wear sexy boots. Leading women wear frumpy shoes. The frumpier, the better. That's the rule. The other big change is that the brown M&M has, quote, transitioned from high stilettos to lower block heels. Also less sexy. That's progress. M&Ms will not be satisfied until every last cartoon character is deeply unappealing and totally androgynous. Until the moment you wouldn't want to have a drink with any one of them. That's the goal. When you're totally turned off, we've achieved equity. They've won.
Woo! Tucker Carlson is turned off. His green M&Ms no longer turn him on. They no longer, we don't get into the details of exactly what the green M&M would normally do for Tucker, but really fast, talking about what happened with the M&Ms in general. Each of these anthropomorphized candies has been assigned a fresh personality and look that seems like it would be right at home in the cast description of a new CW drama. The two female characters, formerly known as Ms. Green and Ms. Brown, are now dropping the title to de-emphasize gender. They'll team up as a force supporting women, together throwing shine and not shade. Oh, that's nice. Now Tucker is upset that things aren't sexy enough and he doesn't really want to have sex with them anymore to eat his M&Ms. But look how really different they actually look. Because he was complaining about the green M&M who lost the high boots and went to sneakers. I think sneakers look dope on women, but this is an M&M. Just in case you guys forgot, this is an M&M. Also the brown one, as he pointed out, she had higher, maybe Louboutins, we should see the bottoms, and went to the block heel. I've heard that's more comfortable. Let the brown M&M be comfortable. Again, the amount of thought I've already put into this is more than I ever wished I could have. But maybe, as one Twitter user I think did point out, this could be an approach that he likes his green M&M in. It's a little scary. I don't know if I really see that. And lastly, he went after the orange M&M as well because the orange M&M has anxiety problems, so you gotta attack them too. Let's watch this really fast.
Meanwhile, in a nod to the burgeoning wellness movement, the orange M&M will, quote, acknowledge and embrace his anxiety. And actually, if you look at him, the orange M&M does appear very anxious. Maybe he doesn't like all the ugly new shoes he sees around him. Maybe he liked the sexy boots. Maybe the orange M&M is a secret sexist himself. We don't know. We're gonna let NPR get to the bottom of that.
I refuse to believe that he's being serious. This is a joke segment. This is a totally joke segment. And when people talk about it, so I'm gonna let you guys know, hey, everybody with Tucker Carlson show, we know you're joking. At least I do.
No, look, Jayar, yes and no. Is he making light of it? Of course he is. Does his audience love it? Yes. They eat this stuff up. Well, in the case of M&Ms, quite literally. But I don't know what kind of fetish they have with it. I don't know if they think it stands for masochism and masturbation or something. Like, why are you all like, oh, how does a green M&M look? Oh, yeah. I mean, I can't unsee that green M&M.
You should have seen it without the bars.
Okay, but there is a serious point in here, Jayar, which is that, look, this is Tucker channeling the collective audiences, conservative audiences, saying, "You kids, get off my lawn." Yes, M&M needs young people to buy their candy, and young people are progressive and acknowledge their feelings and don't think that women need to be sexualized for older men. And that drives them crazy. And that's what Tucker's doing, saying, you're right, shouldn't we keep sexualizing women and burying our feelings? And there's a lot of right-wing grandpas out there go, you go get him, Tucker. Hand me some of those M&Ms, huh?
It works for him. I mean, we'll see when he runs for president, the M&Ms was part of this whole situation. Anyways, that's all of the time we have today, you guys. Thank you, Cenk Uygur, for joining me. It's been a lovely situation. Up next is the damage report with John Iadarola. It's fantastic Mondays. Oh, I missed that crew over there. I hope you guys have a good show today. Also, everyone out there, thank you for joining me. I hope you guys had a great time with us. We'll be back tomorrow. This is every day. We're gonna be back tomorrow with more videos, the things that you should be looking out for. And until next time, I'll be watching.